All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of our podcast. For those of you tuning in from Generation Tech, yes, we have started a new channel, and we will link it down below. This is the first 10 minutes of the podcast. We'll be posting the rest of the... How long do you think this is going to go? An hour, 2 hours?
Somewhere the rest of this 1 hour and 3 days.
Yes, we will post the rest of that on our podcast channel. So please do check that out once you've watched these first 10 minutes. So what are we talking about today, Sweetwood?
The future of Star Wars.
Yeah, because it was the end of an era.
It was the end of an era.
The Skywalker Saga is officially over.
And we're left with nothing but pleasant memories.
But no, I mean, I think it's interesting because now Disney has launched Disney Plus, which basically gives them a lot of incentive to release as much content as possible. They're going after that Netflix model.
But right now we're stuck with very little.
Yeah, there's nothing really going on. Like once The Mandalorian ended, it was like, oh, what are we doing here?
I'm just paying Disney right now just to be Disney.
Right. So, but let's. Do you think that? I mean, we kind of went through what Star Wars has coming in the near future. I don't know if you want to talk about this now or later, but do you think Star Wars is kind of in some trouble right now at this point? Do they have enough momentum to ride them through the next few years, or are we going to see a loss of interest in Star Wars?
Here's what I think. I mean, you're never going to get the same kind of excitement that you were able to gin up for The Force Awakens, because that part of that comes from the fact that Star Wars had such a long layoff,
right.
But it had this mystique behind it.
Right.
It has and
the nostalgia factor.
The nostalgia, and when it comes back, it's like, oh my God, it's a big event. Star Wars is coming back.
Right.
So when it becomes a more regular thing, there's no way you're going to build the excitement the same way.
Right.
Now, can the movies still come up with original content and be good movies? Yeah. I mean, listen, the chances are that if you're making a movie every year, sometimes you're not going to make good movies.
Well, I mean, I think
some of them can be good.
I think, if anything, the parent studio, the parent company Disney has shown that through the Avengers. Because I think Avengers, I don't know what cycle it was, but after watching like the second Thor and Doctor Strange and a few of those, I remember there's that year, there's Captain America, Civil War. I was really tired of the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. All the movies stopped really, amazing. Yeah, but then they reinvented themselves with Thor Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was very surprised. Because I had written off Marvel. I was like, oh, these guys are basically out of ideas. They're not going to be able to evolve things anymore. So if anyone's going to do this, if anyone's going to transition Disney from a once in a decade thing into a
it'll be Taika Waititi.
It'll be Taika Waititi, yeah, for sure. Taika Waititi. No, I think Disney has the right people, and they definitely have the right money involved. But this whole sequel trilogy has probably been a huge kind of learning experience for them.
I mean, I think that what's got to happen, that actually what we have with Marvel is you basically have for decades.
Yeah.
You've had content of all different types.
Yes.
You've had children's cartoons.
Right.
You've had, as of recent, you had some more adult themes in movies. Obviously, they don't have anything too crazy or dark. I mean, the
franchise has its own
Deadpool, which is kind of
tangential
to Marvel. But that's what Star Wars. That's what I'm hoping that kind of happens through Disney Plus. I mean, fine, if you want to have your kids shows, that's great. And if you want to keep the more mainstream major Star Wars trilogy films, for something that the masses can consume, fine. But now Disney Plus has got to have something for the more adult crowd.
They really do. That is super important.
That's the whole point of Disney Plus. You'll have stuff for the kids, have stuff that's more a House of Cards, a Peaky Blinders, a Game of Thrones, type of thing.
I would love to see a House of Cards Coruscant. Young Palpatine negotiating through the halls of Coruscant, having monologues towards the camera. Dude,
young Palpatine would be cool.
Just bring Spacey back and have him do it. That would be his comeback tour.
Yeah, I mean, there's too much. The whole point with Star Wars, the main films, is that, the farther we get away from the last film, the better I feel. No, the more we can look back on it with more insight, and I think that. It's the main thing is that when it comes to the main arc films, there's so many constraints. There's so many things you have to like. There's so many boxes you have to check, and it's just hopefully Disney Plus is the way out from that.
Well, I think that when I talk to fans of the series, the most sane fans and the least angry fans are the ones that really get attached to the universe, not necessarily individual characters or storylines. And I think that's like a probably better thing that Disney has for it. It's like, that's what I love about Star Wars. It's the galaxy that they've created, the depth of the lore, which, you know, we research a lot of different fictional franchises. Star Wars is at another level. You know, the Star Wars Wikipedia like rivals Wikipedia. You know, it's intense. It's very, very thorough. So I think as long as you know, you're going to get people interested in these new worlds, alien cities, you're going to be fine. I mean, one of the problems lately, we've talked about this, is like they're relying on desert planets way too much. Like, we can keep going back to these very boring planets where there's nothing really going on. You know, minimalistic settlements. You know, it just kind of seems like laziness.
Yeah, we discussed this. They definitely need a more urban based show or movie where like there's kind of lots of politics.
Well, no, I like it's not even just the urban or not urban. Let's explore new stuff. Let's get away from Tatooine, for God's sake. Let's just get away from there. And let's find
get away
a place.
from Tatooine, but I'm not that exhausted of like I like you. I want to see more of Coruscant. You know, that'd be cool. I mean, maybe I would like to see something with Star Wars that's maybe a little bit neo-noir. You know, like the Detective Pikachu type stuff. No,
that's got to be on Coruscant.
But hold on, I mean,
that's got to be Coruscant. Yeah.
Honestly, the clone, I think
it's got to be a detective, an ex-Jedi detective with a Twi'lek secretary.
The Clone Wars,
right?
Yes, that's kind of thing with like the hat and everything.
He's like, he used to be a Jedi, now he's a private dick. You know, he's in like, you know, level 1313, whatever.
That'd be cool, actually. Yeah, you could have like a an actual detective-based Star Wars thing. That's actually a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, he's got that whole 30s like kind of accent.
We've actually seen it a little bit in the prequel trilogy and a little bit in the Clone Wars, where they did a little bit of like
the noir
animated like neo-noir type city. You know, like
the neon and everything and the
I mean the neon and all the lights. And I think they have a lot of potential there, but. Anyways, I feel like we are going to know if Disney is on the right track to fresh content with this Obi-Wan series.
I also think that one thing that people don't take into account is the reality is Disney has won the monopoly war already. I mean, they're too big to fail at this point. They have acquired everything. You know, so they will have many chances, and they've already had many. They've already screwed up many times, and they can bounce back and continue making stuff until they kind of figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, but the leadership's got to be good. The management's got to be good.
Right.
Where they can keep making films that are like good enough.
But
to me, if Obi-Wan comes out and
well, you want to let's go through.
You want to do it like we can just list what the things that are coming out. But,
so, finish your thought about Obi-Wan.
Well, what I was going to say was that. Not just Obi-Wan, but Obi-Wan's the main one for me because what Obi-Wan is and who he is as a character, like, you could really have something edgy. It doesn't necessarily need to be, but if it comes out and it's the same thing as The Mandalorian, same style, same concept. Listen, I like The Mandalorian, but I don't want the same thing for every show.
I like The Mandalorian, but like we've both said this, it needs to be darker, honestly. Yeah, it needs to be much more violent, in my opinion, because it's The Mandalorian.
And I think Obi-Wan should go down that route, exactly. But I just want it to, at least I want it to feel different. I want it to be like, okay, they're going in a different direction with this show. It's not going to be every show is kind of in the same vein as The Mandalorian. I want it to feel different. You know, I want it to feel like every show is going to present a different mood.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's go analyze what we got so far. So you guys, in case you haven't been, following what is actually official, what isn't. The next thing that we have. As far as the Star Wars universe, will be coming out it'll be coming out on February 21st, and that is the 7th season of the Clone Wars. Your reactions to that?
I mean, I think you can probably speak better to this, but this to me is not going to be something that's really going to push the bar as far as Star Wars content goes.
Were you a Clone Wars guy when you were younger? Did you watch it?
I was not.
You didn't watch it? Not even the Samurai Jack one?
Samurai Jack one.
The Samurai.
I watched Samurai Jack.
You remember the Samurai Jack creator did this Clone
Wars? Yes.
Dude,
yes.
In all honesty, like I like the later.
Yeah, that's really cool animation.
I really like the Clone Wars, but I remember watching this as a kid, and it wasn't just the animation is really cool, but like
They should do more stuff like that. Yeah, I agree.
They captured war. I mean, like, the reality is this. Look,
and they didn't really speak in like the.
You and me grew up in an era when a lot of movies were still glorifying war. Correct? I mean, like, there were just war films where it was just the pure glorification of war, and like, well, look at this. Like, this is just epic nonsense. You know, like, this is from a different era. Like, now every war movie has to have some kind of message behind it, like some, you know, it has to be a little anti-war, just to give us a little context of how terrible this, if this were in real life, this would be a terrible situation.